Abdullah, thank you so much for joining the call. And how is Notenook and what do you guys
Yeah, no
working on now?
problem. It was, yeah. Thank you so much for having me and organizing all this and everything. Uh, we are basically right now. It's a little chill. We just released version 3, and after that it has been a little. We are just taking some time off, just maintaining things, not doing a whole lot, but we are planning a lot of things. Like, for example, we are working on self-hosting, and we are, changing our pricing policy, the pricing plans, and we are also looking to, do third-party audit. That is all on the plans, but like right now, it's just it's a little chill. We're just trying to cool down because it was really hectic. Really releasing version 3 was it was one of the the biggest release in the Notenook's history, and it was, yeah, it just really drained us. So we're just taking a little bit off now.
Got it. Makes sense. I mean,
What about you?
I think V3 has been
What
a huge
about you?
update.
What
What is
no,
it?
like, what are you working?
What are we working on? Mostly ML, machine learning, face recognition, and semantic search. Semantic search has been in beta for a while. Face recognition is in closed beta. We've got a lot of feedback. And from an engineering perspective, this has been very challenging, a lot harder than I thought it would be. Running all of these models on device, like on mobile devices, it's not been easy. But we're getting there. Like I can see the light
Yeah.
at the end of the tunnel, and it'll happen sooner than later. So just inching towards V1 for us.
Yeah,
So we are far from V3. We are working towards V1 right now. In the next couple of months, we should be there. Fingers crossed.
yeah. Are you working on any new product? Because I see that Ente is it is multi. You have multiple products. You have auth. You have video. Photos. And are you working on something new?
No, nothing right now. We just wanna ace photos right now. Auth is more of a hobby project because Bob Neeraj, co-founder, like he wanted to build that for himself. So it just started off that way, and it kind of took off on its own. So it is more for personal use case.
Yeah.
And right now there's a lot of work on photos, and we don't wanna get into anything new. We don't wanna stretch ourselves too thin. So just focusing on getting feature parity with Google Photos, because that's who we're playing against, and there's a lot of gap to close there. So that's what the focus is on.
Yeah. That's something that I think that Notenook, ever since we have started, like, this is something that we have been trying to catch up on. Like trying to reach feature parity with other products that are already in the market, and just being compatible, because a lot of people are coming from other products and they're like, why is this feature not there? Why is this not working? I'm used to doing the things that my workflow works this way, but Notion works that way. So, like, trying to make all that work, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of thinking, and you're just trying to focus down on things that really matter to users.
Right.
So, yeah, that's something.
And I feel you guys have done a stellar job so far. I see, I already know this, but I would still like you to tell the rest of the folks about like the team and the background of the folks behind Notenook, because I think the story is very interesting. So if you guys just could give a quick background, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Notenook is like an idea born out of need, kind of, and also out of like seeing that there weren't that many great privacy-focused products. We were using Evernote and basically Evernote, and we found out about Standard Notes, and we tried to use it, but there were a lot of things missing. That is like a bit far back, like in 2019, before COVID, and that's how like we thought, like, okay, this is something that we also use and that customers and users would appreciate having. And the big thing was like there's a huge difference, and kind of, you can say, like there's a huge demand for a product that is privacy focused and doesn't compromise on features and gives you what you need to do your work without getting in the way. And that was basically the whole idea behind Notesnook, that we want to create a product that users can easily use without privacy and all that encryption stuff getting in the way, and that they can appreciate all the privacy benefits as well. And so far, it has been great. We are totally like, for people who don't know, we are basically just 3 people working behind the scenes. It's me, my 2 brothers, and we are just working out of Pakistan. And like it has been, I think, 5 years now, almost. And just us 3 from the beginning, no new members, no nothing like big, but it has been really great. Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually find that mind blowing, just like 3 of you folks building this. And for those unaware, you should check out Notenook on GitHub and stalk their contributors. It is amazing how talented these folks are. Yeah.
Thank you. And the thing is like, this is our first rodeo. Like, we have no prior experience. Like, for example, like I am basically like, I don't have a lot of experience running a product, like all the things that, that are involved in running a successful product. And, a lot of difficulties keep coming up, a lot of new experiences, and you have to learn on the way, and you have to be fast, you have to be efficient. And it's just, it's a struggle, but it's something that I find exciting, waking up every day and you have to, it's your own thing. You are making a difference. People are using your product. And, looking back, like 5 years back when we were building Notesnook, it was just the 3 of us. No one knew about Notesnook. No one cared. And now they're like 100,000 users. We are over 100,000 users. We have like 5 million notes in Notesnook. And it's just really encouraging and really motivating to see all these people using what we made and, appreciating it.
Right. Yeah, really cool stuff from a very small team, right? So, yeah, great stuff, I guess. Yeah. Moving on, this is something that I wanted to talk to you for a while. Like, how do you perceive Proton's acquisition of standard notes, and how do we compete as a standalone products like Notenook or Ente against like Proton's bundle? What's your view on the whole landscape right now?
So I think the acquisition happened during Eid. So we were taking some time off, and I didn't even know that they got acquired until I checked Twitter and everyone was like talking about it, like Proton acquired Standard Notes, and I like, what is this like? Standard Notes was like the ideal. Like, we were like, they are independent, they're working, and it's just they were the inspiration behind Notenook basically. And we saw, okay, Proton is something like that we also look up to, but it's not really in the space. They're privacy focused, but they are building something different. But yeah, when they announced that they were acquiring Standard Notes, it was shocking, kind of. And then, but now I see I think it's. I don't know. I think I personally prefer being independent, because when you're independent, you have the full decision to do what you want, and you can manage the resources, you can manage the team, you can do everything, and there's no other opinions involved, no other third parties, trying to push something that way, this way. You have full control, and I think privacy is something that you need to have full control on, because you never know. But in case of Standard Notes, the best thing is they got acquired by a privacy-focused company. So Proton has a really, really good track record. So I don't think it will be a problem for them. But personally, if Proton offered me proffered us to acquire Notenook, I would say no, because I'm not someone who can you can follow another person's way. I'm just like, I want to do my own thing, and not really. And as something that I think that also get compromises, like the focus on privacy. Sometimes, someone will have a different point of view, like, okay, a different threat model actually. And they would be like, okay, this isn't needed. But I will be thinking, oh, no, actually, there is need for this and there is demand for this and someone will benefit from this feature. So, tackling all that, I think I'm better off. Personally, I'm better off without any kind of acquisition. Well, we want to stay independent all the way.
Got it. Got it. And does this change?
What about you? Is Ente going to get acquired?
No,
What do you think?
I mean, I think we're fine where we are right now, and a lot of exciting things to work on, right? Like you said earlier, like to one of the previous questions, it's nice to wake up and have a lot of energy to know that there's an infinite list of things that are left for you to do, and also control is also nice, and vision is also nice. We have a very specific vision of what we want it to be, and it's we don't know what the future is, but right now I think we are content where we are.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. I personally, I think like people, companies or products get acquired when the development team or the founders, they kind of get distracted, or they have some other ideas that they want to work on, and they're like, okay, we can manage this, but we have this other thing that we also want to work on, and doing both of them at the same time. Like I want to be clear that I don't know the whole background of behind how Stern and Notes acquisition happening, what was going on, and everything. But I think in most cases, acquisitions happen. Like, for example, what happened with Skift. It's just like founders get tired, and I understand it's something that. But I personally find this very exciting. This Notesnook is something that we love working on. Every day we are just really excited to do and add features, fix things, talk with users, onboard new users, and all that.
Got it. So it's related to the second part of the question. That does this in some way change the product roadmap or marketing roadmap because of how things might now get integrated in the Proton ecosystem versus because that's one question we hear a lot, right, at Ente, that because Proton has launched photo backups as well, and for a lot of customers who might be price sensitive as well, it's a better deal, it's better value for money, right? So now, how do you think that will play out for Notenook?
Yeah, okay. So I don't think anyone can compete with us on pricing. I don't think that's something that's possible to do based on like where we are. Because we are in Pakistan, it's like the cost of living here and everything is really low. So we can price our product down while gaining a substantial amount of profit and, remaining sustainable and not like really cutting any corners. But as far as like with the Proton whole package goes, I think it's an appealing option. Like if I was not building Notenook, I would like really think about it because like compared to Google, which is not privacy focused, which is like compared to that, Proton is something that's really nice and I think appealing. But the problem is like getting a whole bundle of things and from one company. I think that's risky because you're putting all your data in their hands. Well, not in their hands exactly, but like they have the control and they have the products, they have the whole thing. So it gets risky. What happens if they decide to discontinue Standard Notes, or what happens if they decide to discontinue anything? Where will you go? So having this option to have multiple buy subscriptions for multiple products, I think it gives you independence, and it gives you the option to move away from things. You don't get locked in. I think that's also something that I personally don't prefer about Apple, because once you get into their ecosystem,
Right.
it's really hard to get out. And if they decide to change something, you are stuck. So I think it's good to have competition, of course. I'm not really against that. But if someone came to me and was like, I want to buy a subscription between Notenook and the private and Proton's, the whole bundle, the Proton plan, I would tell them what's like, if you just want to use Notes and you want to take notes, you want to work, I think you should go with Notes. Like that's an unbiased, because we are focused on making a note-taking application. We don't have any distractions. We are just building this. And we have really great velocity. We reach users' demands really quickly, compared to a Proton where things can get sidetracked. Not that they do. I'm not complaining, but like it can happen. It's understandable. They have a big company, a lot of users, a lot of a different kind of things going on. So yeah, it's I personally I'm not worried. But yeah, as far as pricing goes, nothing can come even close to what Notenook is offering at the price it's offering, no matter how big a bundle they make. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, and as far as Ente goes, I think you are also quite competitively priced. Like the storage that you guys offer at the price that you are offering, it's I think it's one of the most affordable options.
It's actually it's not as affordable as people would like it to be, is what we've understood, for a bunch of reasons. One, in general, storage is expensive, and we do this thing wherein we keep data in 3 different buckets, so that there is like 3 times replication that's happening. And that also, I don't know how much like national providers are keeping, but and we don't really, at least at this point, we're not very keen on dropping one of the buckets. Maybe that's something we'll do in the long. I don't know, but at least right now pricing is.
I think what you guys are offering.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can, I personally, like as a founder, that I think like right now, even now, we are changing our pricing plans, and we are, because Notenook has improved a lot, and a lot of new features have come, and we are still running the old pricing. Like there's basic plan and pro plan and nothing else. So I think one of the things that do make sense in the subscription market, in the SaaS, the whole thing, I think that makes sense is, you have multiple plans, or you can do users-based pricing, and that way users can, the people who are in like really low-tier countries, they can afford to buy a subscription as well. It's I think reaching your users all over the world is really important. That's basically why we introduced regional pricing, and trying to reach people in third world countries, people where the cost of living is low, but their income is as low. The income per capita is low, and I think like bringing privacy to those people is also important. So pricing your product competitively is, I think, very, very important, because I see this a lot. Like I go through Reddit almost every day, and people talking about Notenook and like different products and why I'm going with this, why with that. And one thing I keep noticing people keep bringing up is that Notenook is very competitively priced, and what they are offering, it's impossible to do in a more affordable package. But I think being competitive in pricing is really important. Like if you want to grow, that's the only way. But I think you can be flexible. Like for example, you have multiple plans. Like you have a lower price plan for people who can't afford to go, all the way in, but they also get some features, some storage, some all that. And then there is a higher price plan where users can have the option to, have more storage, different things. Yeah, overall, I think pricing is really important.
Right. Yeah, that's something that you do have to get right and iterate on, actually, because it's been a while. And so for us, in general, the way we see this, in the short run, maybe it will hurt us a bit because of the bundling, right? Because the revenue price sensitive folks would prefer Proton, and having that revenue would have been nice. But in the long run, we don't think it'll matter, because our target is not Proton users, and our target is Google Photos users. And photos requires a lot of attention to detail. This is something you mentioned earlier as well, right? And I'm also not a huge fan of Proton's strategy of doing a lot of things. And but at the end of the day, they're running a company that is far bigger than Ente. So they must know things that I don't. But yeah, see, the folks we can attract from Google Photos are significantly larger than we can get from Proton. And in general, it's better to just play nice with each other and expand the market rather than.
Exactly.
But again, so that's a long-term game, right? Yeah,
it's a long-term game, and I think like being focused is really important, because every day there is like some other competitor, some other company who is building something, and they are coming into the market and they have introduced a new product, but they're not really focused on that product. It's kind of a side thing for them. And always getting fired up and be like, okay, this new competitor has come up and we have to now do something about it. I don't think that's, you have to focus on the big players. For example, in the case of Notenook, we have always been focused on targeting Evernote users and trying to cater to them and trying to bring them to Notenook and trying to fix their issues. And we know a lot of other apps are also there and they have a lot of users as well. But being focused is important, because if you are making anything for everyone, you can't make anything for anyone. So it's really important to be focused and not really get hyped up because someone started building something that you are also building. Yeah.
Right. And so, talking of long term, right? What is your long term mission for Notenook?
Yeah, long term. Yeah, that's something that we have thought about, but we haven't reached that point where we can, see far into the future, because there are a lot of things that we still don't have right. For example, search is something that's just works. It's not really exciting to search inside Notenook. So there are a lot of steps to reach that level where you can be like, I have a broad vision of where Notenook will go. But in my mind, what I think is really important for any product is to one day pause. Like one day the development is just focused on maintenance, and you don't keep adding features, keep making the app bigger. I'm a personal believer in if any app, any product wants to be sustainable in the long term, they have to stop developing and they have to start maintaining and just maintain. Because I think what users really want is a stable product. And that's something that we have not been able to achieve for a long period of time. And I think if any product wants to excel and be the default choice for anyone, they have to get this right. They have to be very stable. They don't have to change a lot of things. They have to just keep the users that they have and appeal to other users while having this balance between all this. So in my mind, the long-term plan for Notenook is to just one day we say, okay, we're done with building Notenook, adding new features in Notenook. It's complete, and we will work on something else. We will maintain this, but we want to reach that point where we're like, no, this is done. If you want something else added to this, you can either use our extension API, or you can build a plugin for it, or you can contribute yourself, and we will see if we can add it or not. Yeah, that's something that I think that's really important.
But no, this makes sense, right?
Everything is stable.
Yeah, in general, I feel software is something that we always apologize for. Things don't work the way it's supposed to work. And yeah, it would be nice to reach a point where you don't have to apologize for it. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are, for example, in our software development world, there's Vim, there's Emacs, there's all these kind of different that are really old. And of course, they're working on them. They're releasing new versions, but you don't see huge things coming out of them. You don't see groundbreaking features in them. They do add things here and there, change this, but overall, it's the same product. And they have very loyal users that will never leave. And, if they start changing the product, even a little bit, these users will get frustrated. And I'm on Notenook to be something that's very long-term, very sustainable, and very stable. People should not have to worry about losing their notes or something is not syncing. If it, it's the, how to say it, if it is working, there's no need to, break it.
Got it. That's great to hear, as a customer.
Yeah. I think the wording was something like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, something like that.
Right.
So that's my personal vision for Notenook.
Got it. And obviously, now as a customer, right, this is one feature request that I want to talk to you about, right, with or whatever is happening with local AI in general, at least we're spending a lot of energy on getting to run locally, right? That runs in a privacy friendly way on a device. And if I could actually talk to my notes and connect the dots, that would be super valuable. So when you say that, your long-term vision of Notenook is capped at some point, does this factor in like being able to actually have conversation with my notes?
Yeah. Okay. So this is something that we have, ever since I think we were working on version 3 when we, started thinking about this, adding AI and introducing this, a unique thing. Not unique. I think a lot of other apps are starting to add this as well. But for us, it was the first time we were starting this. And AI is something that we want to do in a privacy-friendly way, but we also know that it is not possible for everyone to run the AI on the local machine in a sustainable way. So in my mind, how I want AI in Notenook is to give people the option to run their own model, or connect to their own model, or they can use OpenAI or Grok or Cloud or anything. Like they have the option to use whatever API or whatever language model they want to use. But some things that we can do on the machine locally, we will do. For example, search, or as you said, as you mentioned, talking with your notes or searching your note. I think that we can do that locally. And I recently built a prototype for it, using embeddings and searching, doing a vector search across all that. So yeah, it is something that Notenook I think should have. Personally, like when I'm using Notenook, I think it would be really cool to open up a prompt and be like, okay, tell me about this plan, and it will just give me a whole like list of things, and talk with notes without going into the notes themselves. Yeah, I think it's a really appealing package, and yeah, we will definitely add this. This is
All right. So you mentioned building a prototype, right? So what is the model? What is the model that you're using for it?
Yeah, I was just trying different models. Actually, I was benchmarking. I was trying to use Transformers JS by Hugging Face. I think yeah. So I was using Transformers JS, and I was benchmarking basically all the models, the automated machine, all the embedding models, and a few models came close to being usable on a mobile. The biggest problem is running the AI models on mobile devices. Yes. I think the recent phones do have this AI chips and all that stuff, but older phones that people are still using, giving them AI on their devices is kind of impossible. It's not possible to do that. Yeah,
I'm optimistic that there'll be models which are smaller and the compute will be better, like by end of next year, to the point wherein running it on device should be possible. At least that's what we are placing our
I
bets.
think any kind of yeah, of course, something like that comes up. Why wouldn't we,
Right.
on the user's machine? Why wouldn't we add it? That's why I want to be flexible in this. I don't want to be like a hardcore offline advocate, because I know AI is like at this current stage of AI, it's not possible to, like make AI useful without having a lot of compute, a lot of, high-end computers running around. And the users don't have that. So it's just, I think it's better to have the option to choose where you want to run the model, how you want to. Because, for example, I was looking at, Cloudflare, and they recently also announced their AI and everything. Okay. And they have really appealing pricing. And I think a lot of users can have, like, for free, they can have a lot of things working for them. So it's appealing. Again, I don't think everyone can pay for, like, especially in the third world countries, like Pakistan, for example. I don't think anyone would, if they had the option to use AI not for free, if they had to pay for it, they would never use it. So it's cool to have that option to use AI for free, or they can run it on their own computers, or they can pay for it. whatever they want.
Got it.
It's their data. They should have the option. And to be clear, we will not be, we will not be in the middle. If someone connects, for example, OpenAI, we would send the data to
Understand.
OpenAI. We will not be in the middle to read your notes and anything. It will go directly to OpenAI, and it will be completely in their hands. So if they choose to send the data to cloud or Grok or OpenAI, it's their concern. We are not really going to stop them or be in the middle.
Well, cool. So I have a different question, because you did mention Pakistan, and so see, there is one common criticism for both of us that we face is that we're building privacy-friendly products, right, from outside the EU, and this does lead to a lot of distress till to some level fear-mongering as well, and in a situation where we're trying to serve folks who don't inherently trust corporations and systems, and rightfully so, right? Like in that situation, how do you solve for trust?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we can do in our position without, because of course EU and Swiss privacy laws, and they have a great reputation. So of course people trust them more. But I think if anyone else is building anywhere in the world, I think the most important thing that you can do is be transparent. Be honest, be transparent. Don't try to hide things. That's like our privacy policy for Notes, that we are not going to, steal your data behind your back, or, add backdoors or anything like that. We will keep the code open source so you can verify it yourself. We will give you tools and different things that you can use to verify how Notenook works yourself. And just, being very open about it. Of course, we will also do audits. I think that's very much needed. We will also add options for self-hosting and all that. I think it contributes a lot towards gaining users' trust by having the right incentive, being going on the right way. So being transparent is the only way. If you lie to your users about anything, if you hide anything, because Notenook was not open source since its beginning. It was a closed source, and a lot of people would come to us and they were using Notenook. So it's not like they weren't using Notenook. They were using it, but they were like, we can't really trust Notenook completely until it's open source, until we can see the code, until we know that you're not doing something behind our backs. And that's why we took the decision to open source Notenook, and it was really it was one of the best decisions. And we also open source the backend so people can also see what's going on there. And even though the backend is not verifiable, it's not ever, no one actually can tell what we are running in the back. But I think it's better to have the code open source and be like, we are open, and you can trust us. We're not doing anything behind your back, because of course there will have to be some kind of trust involved. You can't really get, and we are end-to-end encrypted and all that stuff. But without being open source, without being transparent, I think you can't earn anyone's trust. And that's, I think, the biggest card that we have. Where we're based, like Pakistan, a lot of people on Reddit and everywhere else, they're like, okay, Notenook is based in, the company is based in Pakistan, and Pakistan is known for this, that, etc. And to them, I have this, okay, we are based in Pakistan, and there are issues and problems about privacy and everything. But first of all, your data is not stored in Pakistan, so the government or anyone doesn't have any jurisdiction over your data. Secondly, we don't have your data; it's all encrypted. It's all stored as binary blobs. So even if government gets their hands on your data, they can't decrypt it. They can't see what's in there. All they will have access to is your email address. And that's also something that we are working on to hide. So even that will not be there in the near future. So factor all that. We are open source. We are fully transparent. You can talk to us. You know who we are. If anyone wants to come and chat with me, I'm right there. You can connect with me on Discord, on Twitter, or anywhere. And it's just we're very transparent. I think if someone wants to trust us, I think there's no other reason not to. Yeah.
Cool. Now, a personal question, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
There's a lot of noise to deal with in life.
Yeah.
Right? I found it, and I just wanted to know how do you take care of your mental health? Like, what is it that you do outside Notenook, and what are your hobbies? How do you ensure sanity?
Yeah, sanity. Yeah. Okay. So that's yeah. Running a startup is really stressful. I don't think people like really understand how stressful a startup can be. Because for a user, I think what they see is a product. It's running, it's working. You just type in an address and it opens up, and yeah. But for us, we are building it. We are marketing it. We are managing user feedback. We are doing support. We are thinking what to build next on all these concerns. So yeah, keeping sanity is really, and what I do personally, my hobby is reading. I read a lot of books. I'm a huge fan of fantasy. I'm a huge fan of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I don't think, like, if someone knows Brandon Sanderson, yeah, I'm a huge fan of The Way of Kings. And, or I can watch movies, just chill out. Those are two things. And, or if you want to go physical, I play badminton. I go for a run, jogging, and just, going out into the nature, connecting with the nature. That's also something that I'm a really big fan of. And yeah, I'm really like fortunate to be in a place where this is possible. So currently I am based in, this mountainous area, and it's really full of greenery in this. It's really beautiful. So like going there, that's something that also, and then spiritually, there's our religion. That's also something that we do, praying and connecting with Allah, just, reciting Quran. So all these things are behind what brings Notenook to the people. That's how we are building. Like, without all these things, I don't think it will be possible to have Notenook in any way.
Right. Right.
What about you? What do you do? What are your hobbies? What about you?
Uh, so I'm married. I have a daughter. So she takes a lot of her time. She's a toddler. She's 2 years old now. So she takes some amount of time, and I listen to a lot of music, and I get her to listen to a lot of music because I would like for her to grow up to be a musician someday, hopefully. So there is that. Then just hang out with friends, and yeah, that's a very vanilla person. Recently started hitting the gym because some folks in the team started going to the gym, so I'm trying to get more healthy. And that's actually helped. I can clearly
Yes,
see a difference in how it impacts mental health. Yeah.
Yeah, I think exercise is the biggest way to have a better mental health. I think it really helps with the stress and with everything. So the more you exercise, the healthier you become, physically and mentally. And yeah, as for music, music is also something that I don't think people notice, but back in the day, when Microsoft had their Windows released their Windows 8, and they had these UWP apps. I don't think people remember when they launched Windows 10, and I built a music player for it. It's still on the store. No, actually, it isn't. It isn't on the store. So I built that. I was a huge fan of music, and I built a music player for it. That was before Notenook, before all this. I was in, I think, 8th grade, and I built a music player and published it. Yeah, but it's not. That's done. Now it's not.
Cool.
Yeah.
And see, the last time also there was a lot of time we spent discussing around growth and marketing, and I think at the point both of us were taking a very casual approach, saying that things are organic and things are organically working out for both of us. And has that changed for you? Will you be taking a more aggressive stance, and yeah, what is your perspective on it?
I think, yeah, about marketing and growing. I think it's really hard to do it in an honest way. To be honest, to be very honest to whoever's listening, it's really hard to do it in an honest way because all the marketing channels are like they work based on your data. So if I am using Google Ads, for example, or if I am writing ads on Reddit or Twitter, anywhere else, I know that your data is going to be used to show my ads. So it's an ethical problem for like personally. I'm not a I don't prefer running ads, and I also don't think that's something that's kind of rewarding in the long term. I personally prefer organic growth, and users and community has been a huge help in that. Like they spread the word, they share, they write articles. If someone has a YouTube channel, they can publish a video about Notenook, and it has been happening like a lot of that. Or someone like from the privacy community, like for example, Declo recently, they had to connected with us, and they were like, "We want to interview you. We want to see it," and with that, so that really helps. Like that brings Notenook into the conversation. And I think the biggest thing that founders can do is being there on the platforms where the users are, that they can try to solve their issues. Or if someone is on, like for example, in the Evernote forum, you can be there. You can talk about Notenook, not like selling Notenook to them. Like I'm not saying just go all out with the marketing stuff, but like just talking about it. Like this is something that I've built, and all that. I think that helps. In a few places, like for example, people ask like, what are the alternatives for XYZ? And recently, I don't like post myself, but a lot of users, which I'm very thankful for, like they come up and they were like, "Oh, there's Notenook, and you should check out Notenook," and I recommend Notenook. So word of mouth, I think, is the best way to grow.
Right.
And yeah, just connecting with your users, I think that's the honest way. Yeah, running ads and all that paid stuff, I don't think that works in the long term. Personally, I haven't seen any kind of benefit out of it. I know big companies like Brave and stuff, they do run ads on YouTube and all that. But I think that's kind of a hypocritical stance, because you are saying, okay, this company, this Google is stealing your data, and then you're using this same data to sell your own thing. So it doesn't really match up with the idea.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with that part about marketing being hard to accomplish in a graceful way, be it paid or be it unpaid. It's a dance, and the elegance is it's hard to strike. And I think even for a sorry, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so I think another thing that really helps is being active. For example, like if you have a YouTube channel, I think, like, we don't have a YouTube channel personally, but I think Notenook would benefit a lot if we had a YouTube channel, and we were actively posting videos, actively connecting with users, or like recently we started being more active on the blog. And I think that helps a lot in, when you're active, I think people are more receptive to whatever you're building, and they follow you more, and they use your product more, and they get to know about your product more. So I think that's really important. And a few companies I saw, startups were doing this, building, they were, producing shorts or reels or whatever, and they were like posting on YouTube and just introducing their product into the market. So yeah, it's I think it's somewhere where you can experiment a lot. Personally, like, I can't do this. I'm not really excited when I'm like recording something, or I can write, but these days I don't really.
Yeah, you do write really well. Yeah. Actually, so I'm not sure if you're watching chat, right? Hitman has a really interesting question, which is, doesn't the end justify the means though? You should always help more people.
If you can, yeah, actually, if you can, just speak the questions out loud, because I'm not really watching the chat.
Right. So the question is, doesn't the end justify the means with respect to marketing? you can always help more people by spreading the word.
Yeah, okay, so to some end, it could like make sense to, use Google ads or whatever, and then be like, okay, I am attracting, but like the whole pretext is, like if you start, like it's like growing something that's ethically unstable, and then when the user is using your product and you're like being very vocal about, oh, this is so private, we don't steal your data, and the user is thinking like, oh, actually I came from having my data sold, and then that's how I find your product. So yeah, to me, I think I wouldn't have used your product if my data wasn't used in that way. So like there's that argument as well. So it's just, I think it's better to, if you're building a privacy focused product, using the right channels for marketing is very important. Otherwise, people will be like, you're saying something and doing something else, like, and then it's not free. Like it's your money, for example. That's also something like people are paying you their money, whatever they have earned, and you are using that money to give it to Google or whatever, Microsoft or whatever company, which uses your money to sell ads back to them. So it's like they want to be more private, but you are feeding the beast and then getting benefit out of it. And it just doesn't like really make sense. Like those both things can't be on the same way. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I haven't thought a lot about this, but it is interesting, right? I do think if it's possible to set up a loop wherein you can kind of hack the system into, let's say you pay X dollars to Google, and then you end up making more money out of it than they get. Then I think that's a fine outcome, perhaps.
I mean, if there is a way, but still, I think word of mouth, there's no competition for it.
Right, nothing wins worse.
People don't trust software. Yeah, nothing worse better than word of mouth. I think that's the best way to market Notenook as well. But people, it's so encouraging when someone is going out on Twitter, on Reddit, or wherever they are, and they're like, "Oh, I'm using Notenook, and it works for me," and I recommend it, and all that. And when I read it, because usually they do mention Notenook, and it comes up in the feed. So when I read it, and I'm like, this is what we are building. This is what we want to encourage for users to spread privacy through their own means to people who they care about. Of course, we should do it as well. I mean, of course, we want to sell Notenook and gain a profit and run the whole thing. But when people do it, it's way more encouraging and way more rewarding as well.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's all I had for now. Right. This was very nice, Abdullah. Thank you so much for joining the call. And
Yeah,
so open
thank
to
you so much for having me.